It's the biggest plane I've ever seen, Uncle Brad.
It's not a plane, Joe. It's an OGT, Orbital Glide Transport, the world's most advanced concept in aerospace passenger transportation. When it goes into service, it'll carry 500 passengers, halfway around the world in 50 minutes. Take off to touchdown.
That's fantastic, Uncle Brad.
Fueling complete. Motors 1 to 12.
Cabin temperature normal, pressure normal.
Gyros set on course.
There are, of course, other countries developing an orbital glide transport, Brad.
One other country, about a year behind us in development.
Friendly rivalry?
And we have our doubts. We seem to have been having more than our fair share of trouble on ground tests. Blast off minus 30.
Is recheck complete on number 5 monitor?
5 monitor A-OK, Doctor.
Any moment now, Joe.
Who's your flight controller, Brad?
A young guy named Dr. Slade.
Is he good?
The best.
Blast wall into position.
I take it you operate a standard screening procedure for all personnel.
Before each ground test, we checked and double-checked every man on the project.
And came up with nothing?
No. So this time we've gone further and installed a secret computer in the launch control building. Slade knows about the computer, but even he doesn't know where it is. If something does go wrong, we'll know immediately whether it's a design fault or sabotage. And the computer can pinpoint who in launch control is responsible.
Check automatic pilot sequence.
Maintained green.
Check secondary automatic system. Secondary automatics. All green. Roger.
Well, here's luck to you, Brad.
Thanks, Mac. I guess I'll soon know whether luck's on my side.
And if it isn't?
At least I'll know who's been tipping the scales. Our computer will tell us that. Minus 10. Minus 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off.
Release all umbilicals.
Go on. Go on.
She's moving, Uncle Brad.
But not fast enough, Joe. Slade, close down all motors.
Say again?
An all motor shutdown, Slade, now.
Series 1 to 4 motors closed down. Malfunction on 5, Doctor. Can't shut out.
Emergency clamps into position. Signal red alert, all stations. Red alert.
Slade. Slade, are you all right?
Yes. Well, okay.
Emergency evacuation procedure. Get your men into the ejection capsule immediately.
Will the launch team be able to get out, Dad?
As long as the rocket doesn't ignite. And if that happens, the launch control building becomes one huge concrete oven.
Hurry, Doctor.
Don't wait for me. I'll take the reserve escape capsule.
If that lot comes down, you'll be sealed in here.
It's a risk I have to take. It's my responsibility to salvage launch data. Fire the capsule!
Dr. Slade, are you receiving me? Come in, Dr. Slade. It's no good, Mac. No answer. Why didn't he use the reserve escape capsule?
He could be trapped in the rubble.
Well, a rescue drill is on its way, but it only has a 14-inch bore. Slade'll never get through that.
Which means we can't recover the concealed monitoring equipment.
Right. And without it, we shall never know whether it's a design fault or sabotage. We need outside help, Mac.
Well, that's the situation, Mr. Weston.
World Intelligence is not a rescue outfit.
We know that, Chief, but we can't wait for a larger drill to be brought in. And there are intelligence aspects involved, the computer findings. If we don't get to that, this country's lead in the OGC race goes out the window. We'll never know if that crash was sabotage.
We can raise a bigger drill by tomorrow, but until then, we can only cut a 14-inch bore.
No man would be able to slide down a 14-inch bore.
But a boy could, Mr. Weston.
Exactly.
It's a tough one. That aircraft could slip at any time, causing a spark which would ignite the fuel. And if that happens, Slade and his rescuer wouldn't stand a chance.
Nor would Brad Johnson's concealed computer. The heat'd destroy all the data in the crash.
And 5 years design and development on the OGC would be lost.
Even if we did use Joe, we need to transfer the brain pattern of a computer expert. And if Slade is trapped by a rockfall, we need a computer expert with a difference. One who also knows how to use explosives. The combination doesn't exist.
No problem.
Uncle Brad worked behind enemy lines during the last war.
As a demolition expert.
You mean we could give Joe Brad Johnson's brain pattern?
Why not? Can you think of a better man for the job?
Let me speak to the chief mining engineer.
So far, right on schedule, Mr. Johnson.
We'll be ready to start drilling in about half an hour.
I don't know who called in World Intelligence, Mr. Louver, but I'm glad you're here. It's the best thing that's happened in a very bad day.
WIN will get Slade and the computer out of there, Mr. Johnson. But there's one condition. Once that drill has done its job, I want the whole area cleared.
Have you got it, Dad?
On beam now.
I'll personally supervise a maximum security clampdown.
I'm afraid it'll have to include you too, Mr. Johnson.
But surely I can help.
Oh, you'll be helping, Mr. Johnson. We can promise you that.
That's it, Joe. A perfect recording of Brad Johnson's brain pattern.
Okay, Dad. I'll get into the big rat.
I don't like the look of this wind, Mr. Johnson.
It could get worse. We've already received a storm warning for this area. Let's go over the security arrangements again.
Roger.
On completion of drilling, all engineers to be removed from base area. Each man to be checked clear.
Personally by the base security officer. What's it all about, Mr. Johnson?
They're my orders too, Chief. We're completely in the dark here. All we know is that we've been assigned a special man for the job.
Right. The transfer's complete.
Fine, Dad.
I've got your glasses, Joe. Now, let's get Dr. Slade. And that computer.
Come in, Dr. Slade. This is Brad Johnson. Do you read me? Come in, Dr. Slade. Come in, Dr. Slade. Do you read me? Come in, Dr. Slade.
Not until I've found that computer.
Come in, Dr. Slade. Come in, Dr. Slade.
Still no luck?
No, nothing. I'm afraid we'll have to assume the worst.
Unless his radio equipment's smashed.
Well, that's highly unlikely. There are at least 6 separate radio links in launch control. They can't all have been put out of operation.
Come in, Dr. Slade. This is Brad Johnson. Do you read me?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Chief.
Mining team?
They've just broken through. The problem's all yours now, Sam. But for the life of me, I can't see how you're going to handle it.
Leave it to us, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, Sam. Now, you know where the computer's located. In 10 minutes, the area will be cleared. I only hope you can put a guy down there who'll understand my programming.
Don't worry, Mr. Johnson. We plan to use someone who'll understand it as well as you would yourself.
Hold it. Are your glasses all right, Joe?
Yes, Mac.
As soon as you get down, establish radio contact.
Okay, Mac. Ready when you are.
Okay, Sam.
Weather forecast can hardly be worse, Mac. Electric storms approaching the vicinity. Be here any time now.
Touchdown, Mac.
Well done, Joe. Any sign of Dr. Slade?
Not so far, Mac. I'll take a look around. Dr. Slade! Dr. Slade!
She could go any minute, Mac.
With all this fuel about, lightning is the last thing we need. Joe, have you located Dr. Slade yet?
Look, I know this sounds crazy, Mac, but there's no sign of him.
I don't get it, Sam.
It looks as if Brad Johnson was right.
Joe, Dr. Slade must be trapped under the debris.
I don't see any other answer, Mac.
Okay then, Joe. Find the computer readouts. And get back up here as soon as you can.
That was close.
Hurry it up, Joe. Time's running out.
Collecting the readouts now, Mac.
Hold it there.
Dr. Slade,
Come in. What's a kid doing down here?
I'm a WIN agent. Part of my job was to rescue you. I see now I shouldn't have bothered.
I never could stand smart kids. Now keep your hands off that microphone. Put it on the table with the readouts.
What happens now?
First, we arrange a little accident for you. Then I destroy the computer findings convincingly. And then sit back and wait to be rescued.
One thing puzzles me. You knew about the computer, so why go ahead with the sabotage when you were certain to be found out?
This was the test flight. I had to ensure it ended in failure. I gambled on finding the computer in the confusion. And now, you've found it for me.
You hear that? Do you know what it is?
Part of the OGT wreck, I presume.
Not part of it. The whole aircraft is balanced on the edge of this building.
What?
If it slips, the explosion would make this room hotter than a brick kiln.
Who says it's going to fall?
An electric storms forecast. What we heard up there is probably the beginning of it. That means 2 chances of trouble. Either the wind tips the OGT over the edge, or lightning ignites the rocket fuel.
You are a clever child, but I don't buy that story.
Why not?
Because you came down here to rescue me. My guess is you planned for us to wait until a bigger drill was brought up in the morning.
A poor guess, Slade. The plan was to blow the roof fall clear of the escape vent, and to use one of the ejection capsules to get clear.
You mean they were entrusting a tricky demolition job to you? What do you know about explosions?
I know that 808 plastic is one of the most flexible means ever invented of generating precise amounts of explosive energy. In the right hands, it can crack an egg without breaking the yolk.
You don't talk like a kid.
You're in a jam, Slade, and you know it. You need me to blow a way clear to the escape vent.
Don't think we're making a deal, Sonny. Not when I hold the ace of trumps. Get to work. Fix those charges.
I wonder what's keeping him.
Johnson said the computer was easy enough to locate once you knew where to look.
I'll call him up. Joe? Are you receiving?
Come in, Joe.
Don't answer it.
No answer. Don't like it, Sam. I don't like it at all.
Blast rebounds off flat surfaces in the same manner as reflected light. I'd move from there if I were you, Slade.
You think I can't see what you're up to? Get me in an exposed position and let the blast finish me. I'm staying put. Press that plunger.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Explosion!
No doubt about it.
Try the radio again.
Joe? Come in, Joe.
Joe!
Are you receiving me?
Loud and clear, Mac.
Joe, what's happening down there?
A spot of trouble. I found Dr. Slade. Tell you about it when I get out of here.
Make it quick, Joe.
It can't hold much longer, Mac.
Hurry, Joe! Hurry! It'll go any minute.
You and Sam get clear. I'm just getting Slade into the capsule.
Joe's right, Mac.
Sure.
Come on, then. Look, I know how you feel, Mac, with Joe down there, but there's nothing you can do to help.
Sam, you bring the car up. I'll be ready when you get here.
Ready to eject, Mac, as soon as you're clear.
Eject, Joe! Eject!
I worked with him for 10 years. I can still hardly believe it.
I know how you feel, Johnson, but the main thing is you're satisfied there's no basic design fault in the OGT.
Entirely satisfied.
So the mystery's solved.
Well, that mystery's solved. But a whole lot of others have opened up.
What do you mean, Uncle Brad?
Well, Joe, such as how Wynne managed to find someone who could handle the computer side, and knew enough about explosives to blast clear the ejection vent, and was able to get down a 14-inch shaft.
Didn't Slade give you any clues?
Well, I didn't say a thing that made any sense. It was something about a boy.
A boy?
Well, we can call on operators of all shapes and sizes, Mr. Johnson. Take young Joe here, for example.
Very good, Mr. Looper. Very good.
It could be true, Uncle Brad. You know, I don't wear this badge for nothing.